Okay, hello, my name is Elissa Papale, and I am looking into the problem of senior citizens in senior homes. Okay, CBSL, raise your hand if you're a junior. Okay, so next year you have the great opportunity to do this. So all the research and time, it will be worth it in the end, I promise. So what I do is I go to Villa Capri. I have discussion groups and I get them involved and I get them to learn different things every time I go. And what I do is the elderlies love to talk. And my personal grandfather, at some point, he would just keep talking, and I'd be so immune to his voice, he wouldn't know I wouldn't be listening. So basically, I take something from their time and what they're interested in, and I say, what has changed about it? Example, technology. And I show them my iPad, and then I have a typewriter, and it's completely changed from then to now. So, CBSL research. My English teacher, Dr. Barry, she told me, you need to find a book about your topic. And I was like, I already know so much about it, but I didn't. This book, Can't We Talk About Something More Pleasant, is about how 3 lives have changed forever. It's a true story on how 2 parents lived up and grew in New York and had to go into senior homes. But their daughter's life changed as well. She's the one that said, you can't live here anymore, you can't take care of yourself. And this book gives them hope, and it's called Living in a Worn Out Body. Basically, the book is filled with poems and Bible scriptures, and it gives them hope on why they're living, but as they're sick, and they're in a senior home, and they're stuck there. And it's just a room and nothing else. Their families don't live with them and they don't live with you, and it's all new faces and all new people. And I went through it with my grandfather. This is my grandfather, Raymond Rainford. He passed away this past year in 2015, and he lived in senior homes. But at first, when I was in elementary school, he lived with me at my house. And I am very, very patient with the elderly, but at one point I told my mom, I said, this isn't working. We can't take care of him while we're at school and you're at work. He tried walking to the grocery store, but he walked by himself on the street. He didn't know which way to go back home, and we were lucky that he was still alive when we got home, because a stranger had picked him up and driven him to our house. And what this is he lived here, and he went, and we made the decision to put him in a senior home. It devastated me every day when I would visit him, because he would smile and he would love to see us, but I knew him too well, and I knew he wasn't happy, and I hated it to see him that way. And basically, we couldn't take care of him in Santa Rosa anymore. So we transferred him to Arizona to live with my aunt, and that's where he spent his last few years of his life, in Arizona. And my aunt eventually put him in a home after an apartment because he fell and he got worse. But as I was looking into this, I went to visit him in Arizona, and this is the picture of when I last saw him before he passed away. And it made me feel better to see him happy, but then when we left, he completely changed his face, and he knew that we were leaving. And we have to take a plane. It's not like it's an hour drive or 15-minute drive. He knew that we couldn't see him for months ahead. But then he passed away. And as I dug deeper into this issue, I realized that's my grandfather's story, but what's my story? My story is my sister and I. We live every day with something that other people don't have. My sister and I, if you take a look at this picture, the first thing you don't think of is, oh, they have an illness. Because not a lot of people think about that. Because not a lot of people know. Because my sister and I go to school every day, we smile, we play our sports, we do our thing, but not a lot of people know about it because we don't talk about it. But I felt like it was important to share. So at the age of 2, my sister was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis. And for some of you who don't know what that is, it's a chronic inflammatory bowel disease that causes inflammation in the digestive tract. So basically, you can't cure it. It's only medication day in and day out. And she got that at the age of 2. So she didn't have a normal life from the very, very start. And then, as years went on, it was under control. And then in 5th grade, I got something. I had a seizure in 5th grade in my classroom. And I went to the hospital, and they said, oh, just keep an eye on her. Don't swim alone, because it can happen anywhere else. Always have a parent with you, and just be safe and cautious of your surroundings. So in 5th grade, I was at home that same year, and I had another seizure. So that was when I was diagnosed with juvenile epilepsy. And unfortunately, I have a cyst in my brain. It develops, it's very small, but the only way to remove it is through brain surgery, which, like all surgeries, have very, very high risk. But as from 5th grade to now senior year, my doctor told me I don't have it anymore. And at first I was confused, and I said, how can I not have it? And she said, well, you can grow out of it. So I am very lucky to be one in a few people who can grow out of epilepsy, but I still have my cyst. So in conclusion, after all of these words I've said about being lonely, being trapped in a room, having an illness, having a grandfather who's been through so much, just like any other grandparent, I want you to remember family, strength, and kindness. 1, family, they're always going to be there for you. They're not going to backstab you like a so-called maybe friend at school. They're not going to tell you something but say another thing that means completely different. They're always going to be there. 2 is strength, and I'm very lucky to have a sister who has so much strength, because in accordance to her ulcerative colitis, she has now developed a liver disease. And it's like having ulcerative colitis in your liver. And she just takes complete control of her life. She has a job, she goes to school, she plays volleyball, but nobody knows about it because it's all inside. And just like relating to my grandfather, I knew him all too well behind the smile that he was trying to give me. And 3, the final, kindness. Just always be kind to one another, and just look around the room and just say to someone, how are you? Or do you want to hang out today? Because sometimes they'll want a friend to talk to. Thank you.